All right, welcome into Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Bally Bet, a sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. We are live at the Greenbrier in White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia. The Browns, due to the weather, Jim, they had to move practice to 8:45 this morning, so practice today already in the books. Nathan Zagura alongside the voice of your Cleveland Browns, Jim Donovan. And Jim, we had some rain here after a beautiful Sunday, a beautiful Saturday, some rain, and it forced them down onto the turf field today.
We had a lot of rain.
We
had
did.
A lot of rain come in and overnight, through the morning hours. And I think a lot of people thought it was going to go all day long, but it has kind of subsided. So we're okay, and the Browns got their practice in. They went down onto a turf field today, down below where we are right now, from the grass fields, and got their work done. Pads on, but just kind of pads on.
Yeah, it was
Don't use them. But they're on.
The pads were on.
Yeah.
We did not see any team portions in the practice today. We didn't see any 7-on-7s, no 11-on-11s, no 1-on-1s. In fact, the only time we saw contact in the pads was a special teams drill. There was a 3-on-3 kind of blocking drill that Bubba Ventrone got a big – he thoroughly enjoyed getting to watch that tape afterwards.
After taking a look at the tape upon further review, as we hear on a Sunday on a replay challenge, he loved what he saw. And I think he likes what he has been seeing so far anyway.
I think he does, and I think as we've talked about many times, is that the kickoff was pretty much kind of taken out of the National Football League, and I think for Bubba Ventrone, this is a kind of a new frontier, new rules, a new play, and it's one that certainly can be exciting, and it's one that can give your team a real competitive advantage.
Well, you know when you watch the World Cup, okay, and that great entrance by the two teams that are coming out there, they have all the little kids with them, and they come out, the crowd's going crazy, and they have the national anthems of both countries. And then they kick the game off, and it okay, there's nothing going on. I mean, really, okay? Nothing going on, and you're lucky to get a goal, and I love the game, but, I mean, that is the scenario. And the NFL kind of fell into that. You have the big build-up, the coin toss, the anthem, teams coming out, and then you kick it off, and you put it into the end zone. The ball came out, to the 25. So I'm glad it's back. I really am. I know it's safety and things like that, but I'm glad it's back.
It was kind of a wasted ceremonial play. You'd be like, all right, they teed up, and we're underway. Out of the end zone, and touchback, and now we'll see the game actually begin. So, I think it's going to be exciting. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I think the Browns are going to be pretty good at it because I think they're going to be very well coached, and they are going to be very well prepared under Bubba Ventrone's watch there.
Now, there's two sides to it. There's you return it, and then the coverage of it. We don't talk about the coverage a lot. We're excited about the return part. What about the coverage part of it? So you're going to have to tackle, okay? And you might have people who aren't used to tackling maybe out there.
Well, I think you're going to have pretty much all defenders out there on the defensive side, and you're going to see offensive linemen on the blocking side. You're going to see defensive linemen kind of come in and create some penetration and eat up space. But you're going to have to be able to get off of a block because it's going to turn into a running play where basically you're going to have 10 guys on both sides meeting at one point. It's not kind of staggered. It's not spread out like it was as much in the traditional kickoff. You're going to have basically a run play where they're looking for one crease to one cut and go. Yeah. And as a defender, you're going to have to be able to fill those creases up, and you're going to have to be able to get off of blocks to make tackles because you're going to be engaged with a blocker.
Do you remember the Alabama-Auburn game, the kick?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, remember that. It was the field goal. They missed it. But Alabama had all big offensive linemen out there, and there was a point where they couldn't chase the guy down, right? So, I mean, you had to have people out there. You had these big fat guys out there trying to get this guy, and he is flying, and you got to watch out for that.
Yeah, well, certainly, and I think it's going to be a mix of. I think the way that you'll see it is probably two big guys in the middle, and then you're going to have, as you get out to the edges, I think progressively smaller, faster. I think you might have some defensive linemen, then some linebackers, and then maybe some of your safeties, corners, special teams, ace guys like Tony Brown there. But, it's going to be an exciting play. By the way, remember 2014 in Atlanta, we tried a long field goal right before the half that they almost ran back, and it was a young Joel Bitonio who ultimately chased them down.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know about him in 2024. Joel Bitonio. No, I got enough accolades.
He will not be a part of it. I don't think.
No, he will not be a part. But I think you could see, guys like Michael Hall, who's so athletic, is a big man in the middle. Alex Wright. You could see guys like that
what
be a
about
part
like
of.
a guy like Diabate?
Oh, yeah,
people
the
like
linebacker.
that.
Oh, yeah.
Tony
yeah.
Fields.
Tony Fields, Diabate. You're going to have perhaps even Jordan Hicks out there at times.
Right.
You're going to have, Watson, the rookie that they drafted out of Mississippi State,
Sure.
is a guy that'll be out there.
Yeah.
And then you're going to get your safeties. I think like D'Anthony Bell will be out there. Perhaps a Ronnie Hickman will be out there. And the specialist guys that were brought in to play special teams, the Tony Browns, the Justin Hardys, that'll kind of round out your coverage team. But it is going to be a fun play. And that was really the only thing that we saw when we got to hear pads actually make contact today.
Yeah, we offensively, though, you and I kind of watched as the Browns went into kind of an RPO, situation, a fake, a screen pass out, on the wings. That was really kind of very interesting to watch. And it might be a big part of this offense.
Yeah, it was something that certainly you've seen. If you've watched the Eagles, for example, you've seen them do it. You see actually a lot of teams do it. And so what really it comes down to is selling of the offensive line. So you're calling it – it's basically up to the quarterback. Do you hand it off? Do you have the advantage in the box? And it's kind of shotgun back on his left, let's say. He comes across for you with an inside or an outside zone. He shows the ball. 4 linemen are going that way, or 3, and then 1 or 2 are going to peel back the outside, and you have a throwback screen on the other side. And so it's just kind of reading the flow. And, you think about this team, and that's one of the things that we haven't really talked about is with these kind of concepts in the offense and with the fact that we're going to be in 11 personnel and the fact that we're going to be spreading teams out a lot more. Like imagine if you're a defense now and the Browns have that look and Nick Chubb is on the left hip of Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, exactly.
You have got to respect Nick Chubb coming
Yeah.
across that formation, and you've got to dedicate resources to stopping that. And so that's going to create opportunities for the screen portion of it, depending on how they defend Nick Chubb. But when we get him back, and boy, we're all excited about that. I know you are the president of the Nick Chubb fan club, but we're going to be able to put defenses in a real bind because we can throw it. But when we can run it, and if we're going to run it, you're going to need to bring that play single high, not 2 deep safeties, and now all of a sudden have 7, 8 down. Then we're going to kill you through the air.
Right. Yeah. And the fact that they are so, at least as we have viewed them right now, so spread out right now, and the ball is, and I keep hammering down on this, but the ball is coming out so quickly. Out of Watson's hands or, James
decisively.
Winston, anybody really. They're all doing it. And, things are really opening up for them.
They are.
And they have great matchups.
It's fun to see. And these are our hot topics of the day presented by University Hospitals, the official healthcare partner of your Cleveland Browns. And, Jim, you're exactly right. I think that, you're spreading them out. And so one of the things that I think went into the creation of, let's say, the skill position talent here, Amari Cooper, obviously, 5-time Pro Bowler, now 7,000-yard seasons, best route runner in the league. He's dominant against man coverage. Jerry Jeudy, when you go into the advanced metrics on him, is dominant against man coverage.
Right.
Elijah Moore creates some of the most separation in the league against man coverage. And so if you can force teams or make them pay when they decide to play man, and now they're going to be sitting in zones, where the soft spots are. You know how to attack various zones, and that's why I think the ball's able to come out quick. And we've seen kind of them demoing. One of the other things that's been fun is the option routes. In the we'll call it Shanahan, Kubiak, Stefanski, McVay, those schemes, there aren't many option routes because everything is basically predicated on timing, rhythm, all of that, so that when the quarterback comes after turning his back to the defense on that play action, that everybody's where they're supposed to be. This offense is going to have more kind of what you call option or choice routes where it's really your route tree is going to be determined by what the defense does. And I think it's been really fun watching them practice that. Well, they will have 2 or 3 defenders lined up outside of a receiver, and then as he comes off, every snap they're doing different things, and that dictates to him what the route should be and then also to the quarterback because these are things you've got to simulate because in the games it's going to be happening even a faster pace and you got to be on the same page.
And the overall thing that really makes you really excited about everything is the receivers look very good.
Yeah, and we still haven't gotten
to
see
Jerry
Jeudy.
You don't see the ball on the ground a lot.
No, and that's that's a sign of a good team.
That's a sign of a good team. Yeah,
7-on-7s, the ball should not be hitting the ground.
And it is not hitting it here.
No, which has been very encouraging as we start here. Now, the last time we actually saw them put in what I would call a pretty spirited day of practice was Saturday. Today was, folks, they were in pads. We told you they only contacted once. It was actually very long kind of individual periods for every position group. And then obviously with the quarterbacks, the offense, they did a bunch of stuff on air. But that's all it was. But on Saturday, We had some pretty good team periods. We had red zone
Great.
7-on-7s.
I thought the red zone was fantastic.
It was, and the Chief right there, who was just off set, had a nice touchdown. We got a first Chief slam out here at the Greenbrier. Oh yeah, and a nice one. Made a throw that was very somebody said to be very Tom Brady-like on the down one to David Bell right there across the end line. So I thought Deshaun looked very sharp in that period.
Yeah, and the defense won a couple too, but I mean, really, that was a good period.
Too.
Yeah, that was a very good period. They kept it going and going and going, and that's really good work.
It was great work, and then yesterday was the players' day off, and a lot of them spent it. You know, we had some people doing some fly fishing out there, catching some trout. We had people golfing. We had the AB 9-mile hike. You had a lot going on, but you saw this team, a lot of guys spending time together and really, as you talked about, all enjoying each other's company.
Yeah, well, I think that's what this is all about. I mean, there's the football part of it, but they could do the football part back in Berea, right?
Yes.
They could do the football part back in Berea, but I think it's really about being together, and it worked so well for them last season that they came back, and they may be, this may be an annual trip that they're going to take, but it really was. It was a great day yesterday. Really kind of turned the temperature down a little bit. It was a beautiful day weather-wise, and everybody came back, I think, rejuvenated today.
Yeah, and it's interesting is first of all, I think that this very likely could become an annual thing. I think our head coach, Kevin Stefanski, is a big, big fan of it. By the way, they are squeegeeing the fields behind us right now.
I'm surprised we don't have a chopper
just
to come down, and hover over it. Blow that thing off. I mean, everything else is here. I mean, they have everything here, folks. Okay?
They do have a helicopter pad here, so it is within the realm of possibility, but the squeegees are out, getting the last bit of water off of these beautiful
those
fields.
People, Nathan, did a great job to get the place ready to be practiced upon today.
Yeah,
Don't
especially
you think? I mean,
a couple hours early.
Yeah, it was really good. They did a very good job.
Everybody did a very, very good job making sure that practice did happen. And I think we're going to get things ramped up a little bit as we go. We'll be in pads again later in the week. I think Thursday's the next time the Browns will be in pads. But, yeah, you're right. This has been good work. Good camaraderie. The guys we've talked to have all certainly enjoyed the experience thus far. And you got, now you got Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You got 4 more days of work, and then we do head back to Cleveland. And then 8 days later, we'll play the preseason opener.
And then the people will see them in Berea, right?
That's right. We'll get everybody.
It'll be good. It'll be good to see all of you out there in Berea.
That's right.
Yeah.
The only thing missing is all of you
all
right now.
All of you. We need you. We'll be back with you soon. Yeah, no doubt.
We most certainly will be. So, yeah, that's kind of really where we're at here now with this team. And as Kevin Stefanski's kind of, talked about what's going to happen, what is it going to look like for the preseason, getting ready is, you want them to be sharp as iron, but you want to be fresh as a daisy, right? So that's the kind of the balance. And today was, I would say, would be more in the fresh as a daisy phase.
Yeah, it's a very, very, complicated formula that on September 8th against Dallas, you want to be at your premium.
Yep.
You want to be there. Now, how do you get there? Is there a point in camp where you have to really, turn the heat up a little bit? Okay, and the grind of camp, and how do you get through it? Everything is targeted towards September 8th, though.
That's right. And beyond. And you want to be healthy. And I think there's some people that would say, let's not practice at all. We have this good, talented team. Let's just be healthy.
Yeah, be healthy.
Right?
Yeah.
But you got to also be sharp and ready to go, to your point. And I think, that's the dance, right? That's the delicate balance that, with all the information they have, trying to keep this team healthy, but also having them absolutely ready to play. And look, you could say with Kevin Stefanski, at least the last 2 seasons, week 1, we have been ready to play, whether it be a kick in Carolina to victory, or last year certainly in a dominant performance over the Bengals.
I mean, when these reports come out daily now, on the wires, and and each team has a significant injury and has lost a player now for the remainder of the year, you really kind of go, wow, we don't need that. So far, that's not happening here.
No.
If it does happen, you have to be ready. So that's the balance that goes on right now, the timing of really being ready to go and timing it perfectly to kind of get you trained and ready to go for that opening game, which is going to be unbelievable.
It certainly is. The atmosphere for the Browns and the Cowboys September the 8th is going to be off the charts. And to your point, we've only had one injury here that's happened on the field, and that was with Brian Allen. He was placed on the reserve injured list. The Browns have made the following roster move. They signed guard Zach Johnson. Johnson, 6'6", 315, officially in his first NFL season out of North Dakota State, originally signed by the Packers as an undrafted free agent in 2020. He's appeared in one career game with the Titans in 2022, so Mike Vrabel certainly would be familiar with him. During his career, he has spent time on the practice squads in Green Bay, Arizona, Denver, Baltimore, and Tennessee. He will wear number 63.
Now, do you think when that comes about, do you think all of a sudden they go, hey, Mike, you had this kid, Zach Johnson. What do you think?
Absolutely.
Huh?
Yes. Absolutely.
And knowing
That's what's
Mike, he will give them his opinion.
A rather honest opinion.
And again, another spirited practice by him today, I thought. He is coaching his tail off.
He's not worried about being fresh as a daisy September 8th. He's going to give you everything he's got right here.
I think he's saying consultant. What do you mean consultant? You know, I'm in it. I'm in it to go.
He's with those tight ends. A lot of work, obviously, with the Chief, David Njoku, and those tight ends over there. He's in every special teams drill. He's one of the guys that's practicing the drops on those choice routes where sometimes he's coming in and cutting off the inside. Sometimes he's staying in his zone, so they have to sit down. He's having that racing Jameis Winston all over the place, having the absolute time of his life. And certainly that's one of the things that I think people are going to get a big kick out of when we do get back to the cross-country mortgage campus in Berea.
Yes,
Getting to see Mike Vrabel in action is going to be certainly a lot of fun for a lot of people.
Now, a lot of people wonder, like on game day, where will he be? He will not be.
He will not be.
He will not be on the sideline. I mean, he'll be at the game, no doubt, with great interest. But,
I think he'll be at some of them. The guys on Pardon My Take were trying to get him to come for a watch party. Said, come to Chicago and watch some games with us. So we'll see. But, yeah, he is not going to have a role on game day. Wants to do everything he can to get this team prepared, but then let Kevin Stefanski and that staff handle things as they have done very successfully, quite frankly, on game days.
You know, it's interesting that he is right with the tight ends.
Yep.
I mean, so much. I mean, it really is, isn't it? I mean, he's with that group the entire time. You know, David told a great story during his thing today that he really kind of tweaks him.
Oh, yeah.
Tries
to get in his head.
Yeah. He goes, I love it. I mean, I get mad, but then, we're okay and everything like that. And I think that's how Mike Vrabel played, Nathan. That's how he played. Tough guy. I think he did more than tweak people.
I was going to say, he'd get in your head and then he'd punch you right in the mouth. That's exactly what he would do out there. I think we might get a little photography. We got the Chief with a camera. He's looking at Coach Stefanski. See, these are the moments that you wouldn't certainly get at the facility. They're having a lot of fun with it up here. But you're right, and Vrabel with the tight ends is interesting for a couple of reasons. One, obviously an outside linebacker, he would be matched up with tight ends many times throughout his career in New England. And also, he would play some tight end in certain situations and catch touchdowns.
2-point conversion.
Yeah, 2-point.
Like that. Yeah,
near the goal line. He was quite effective with it.
He was kind of unstoppable, as a matter of fact, in New England. He was a go-to guy.
Yeah. And one of the things he's really been working with them on is their blocking techniques. You see him a lot of that. And listen, he's saying this is how I would have beaten what you're doing and given them that real kind of hands-on and also that experience and the know-how from the way that he played the game, which I think it's invaluable to these guys. And they all respect him. You come in, you're Mike Vrabel, your credentials, what you did as a player, what you did as a coach, I mean, it is instant respect, instant credibility, and such an asset. I mean, it really is such an asset for this organization. He will be a head coach next year, and so to have him here is a pretty great thing.
He might have the pick of the crop.
Yes, he should.
I mean,
him or Bill.
Yeah. Wow. And that was quite a relationship.
Indeed.
At least at the end.
I mean, it feels like next year, if you're a team that is in need of a head coach, it feels like a pretty good cycle for you. Yeah. Vrabel and Belichick
and
as
the possibilities of where that could be.
Yes,
are wide open.
NFC.
There you go, Mike.
Yeah, NFC. We don't need to see it. All right, coming up today, we're going to go around the sports world. We got a lot going on there. We also going to have some sound bites from the press conference on Saturday that Jimmy and Dee Haslam, the owners of the Cleveland Browns, that they gave. We'll get a little Olympics recap. Jim was very pleased with what the Celtics players were showing. Well, the ones that at least got to play.
That's how we won. That's how we beat Serbia.
That's right. That's how we did it. We'll talk about what we want to see the rest of the week, and you're going to hear from Browns newly extended kicker Dustin Hopkins in a great interview, and then also the Browns defensive end and reigning defensive player of the year Myles Garrett from the podium. So a lot still to come. We are live at the Greenbrier. Nathan Zagura, Jim Donovan, and we'll be back with more Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet. All right, welcome back to the Greenbrier. Cleveland Browns Daily. Nathan Zagura, the voice of your Cleveland Browns, Jim Donovan. And, Jim, I know you're excited for this. You've got your tickets already, so you don't need to listen to this, but everybody else does. Billy Joel and Rod Stewart together for the first time ever.
I have never seen Billy. I have seen Rod.
And I've seen Billy. I've never seen Rod.
Oh, yeah. Rod puts on a great show. I mean,
as does Sir William
Joel. He's
Joel.
up there in age, but he does a good job. He puts on a great show.
Did you ever think you'd be able to see them together?
No.
It seemed like an impossibility.
And when Billy came to Progressive Field a while back, I really blew it and didn't go to that one.
Well, you're making it right now.
I'm going to do it right.
You're going to do it right, and you can all do that as well. Friday, September the 13th, Cleveland Browns Stadium. Tickets are on sale. Visit clevelandbrownstadium.com/BillyandRod 2024 for more information and to claim your tickets now. Don't miss Billy Joel and Rod Stewart. Again, this is only happening once, and it's happening in Cleveland. It's a sign. You should be there. Billy Joel, Rod Stewart, together. One night only. All right, Jim, let's go around the sports world. This is hard-hitting stuff here. The Kelce brothers are launching their own cereal brand.
Yeah.
It will be a combination of their three favorite brands, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Lucky Charms, and Reese's Puffs. Your thoughts?
I have never had the Reese's Puffs.
Oh, it's good. Peanut butter.
I love Lucky Charms.
Oh, dude, who doesn't?
Huh? I mean, they're magically delicious. I mean, I love them. I mean, yeah. Boy, they can do it, huh?
Oh,
they can do whatever they want.
Yes, they can. And I would even go so far as to say I think Cinnamon Toast Crunch might be the best cereal on the planet. So my guess is they're gonna. So the flavor of cinnamon, you got peanut butter, and then you've got basically pure sugar, because that's Lucky Charms is pure sugar.
Yeah.
You know, maybe you're gonna. It'll be interesting if they flavor the marshmallows in there. You know, it's gonna be an interesting combination.
Yeah, right. No, I have not. I'm amazed at what they're able to do. Whatever they want to do, podcasts.
Oh yeah, their podcast is great.
Show up anywhere. They are amazing, right? Together and very tight as brothers. I mean, really, very, very tight as brothers, which is really cool and good for them. And now Travis Kelce came out and said, really, last year really took a lot out of him. Everything,
some injuries,
the football, the
spotlight,
the love life,
of course,
everything like that took a lot out of him.
Yeah.
And he's 35 years old. I didn't realize he's 35 years old.
Yeah, that's what's really incredible about him is that he is able to continue to be as dominant as he is in his mid-30s at really what is an incredibly demanding position. And Travis Kelce last year, he battled through some injuries. I think he suffered an injury early in the season. I want to say he missed week 1, remember?
He got hurt in Minnesota.
And then he got hurt in Minnesota.
Early in the game.
Yeah, in that ankle. So last year, by his standards, a down year, right? 93 catches, 984 yards, 5 touchdowns, a career low 10.6 yards per attempt. But you're talking about a guy who prior to that had 7 straight 1,000-yard seasons. And those didn't start, believe it or not, until he was 27 years of age. That was his first 1,000-yard season. He was already 27.
Yeah. What about Jason? He's doing games, isn't he?
He's doing, yeah.
Is he on a team?
I think he's
I haven't heard that he's on a team. Jason, is he on a team?
I think he's on Monday night.
Jason?
He's on Monday Night Football
Monday
Countdown.
Night Football Countdown.
Oh,
he's on ESPN.
He's not in the booth.
No, not in the booth right now.
Okay.
Yeah, he's on Monday Night Football Countdown.
How do you think he'll be on that?
Excellent.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. He can. Great talker. I mean, I don't know how much you've listened to their podcast. They are highly entertaining. They're entertained together. He is.
And he is very good.
Excellent
right,
and so relatable and all of that. We're talking 6-time first-team All-Pro. You know how I know that's impressive? Joe Thomas was a 6-time first-team All-Pro.
Okay.
So that's a pretty strong number. Yeah, great player. I think he will be very entertaining. And that's kind of the way that they're going, right? That's a new Monday Night Countdown crew. They made some changes there. I think he will be very, very good.
I hope he is. I hope he is very good at it. I mean, he's done a lot of good stuff.
There's no doubt.
Yep.
And I think he's a pretty entertaining guy. Out of Miami, we had this news. Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa signing a 4-year, $212.4 million extension, $167 million guaranteed. To put this in perspective, Dan Marino made $51 million during his entire career in the NFL. Tua's average annual salary is $53.1 million. And Dan unfortunately played at the wrong time. He would be above 53.1 on an annual basis right now.
Remember when there was such worry about Tua?
Yeah.
That it was such a risky pick to take him, and boy, right head coach,
Exactly right.
Right
You
head
nailed
coach,
it.
right system, the quarterback flourishes, right?
And he has been, much like, Brock Purdy, he has been one of the most effective and efficient quarterbacks in the league. And you look at him over the last 2 seasons, and yeah, he has been spectacular. In 2 years ago with Mike McDaniel, 8-5 as the starter, 65% completions, 3,548 yards, 25 touchdowns, 8 picks. He actually led the NFL in touchdown percentage, yards per attempt, and air yards per attempt, and yards per catch, and quarterback rating. And then last year leads the NFL 4,624 yards, 69.3% passing, 29 touchdowns, and a rating over 100 once again. So he has been very good, and you're exactly right, though. You talk about the right guy in the right system, and you're surrounded by Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, now Odell Beckham Jr. is their third. They've got the running. How about Raheem Mostert? He was with us in 2014, and he's still going strong.
The thing they need, home playoff games. They've been weathered out. Buffalo, Kansas City.
Yeah, they are. You're exactly right.
They need to play at home.
Yes.
And vice versa. You don't need to go down there. I remember the Browns went down there with Mack and Biner and, had that big lead. You all remember that? And just faded in the heat down there. But they would be dangerous playing at home.
Well, you were wise to miss our last trip to Miami. We faded in the heat from play one, and that one was an absolute beating that they put on the Cleveland Browns.
You called that game from the hallway, didn't you?
We could.
One of the worst broadcast positions for a newer stadium that's been redone a couple of times.
It's outrageous. And you have to kind of walk through a club, right? Didn't we have to walk through one of their premium clubs to get there?
Yes, after the game, we had to walk through a club. Post-game celebration was in full effect.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
At our expense.
Yeah, you're in basically the corner, behind a corner of an end zone as far away from the field as you could possibly.
Awful.
Like when they're on the other side, you have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, really awful.
It was brutal.
Yeah.
It makes Washington actually seem palatable.
So was what happened on the field. That was not good either.
No, much better than our trip to the Commanders in every respect there, certainly. And then that was the only quarterback who got paid over the weekend. Also, Jordan Love, 4 years, $220 million, $155 million guaranteed, $75 million signing bonus. Boy, that'll change your life. Here, sign this paper. Here's $75 million. Okay, great.
Now talk about a small sample size.
Boy, is it.
How many games?
So I'll tell you this. We were getting ready to play the Steelers the second time around. And I'm pretty sure I have the timing of this right. They played the Packers the week before that. And so I watched, as you always have me do.
Right.
I watched the game. And I remember coming away from that game saying, Jordan Love is absolutely the real deal. The refs that completely ended up stealing that game from the Packers.
Right.
There were a couple controversial calls that were then later said to be wrong. But I was incredibly impressed. Last year, 64% completions, 4,159 yards, 32 touchdowns, 11 picks, rating of 96.1. He was very effective, very good, and actually played pretty darn well in the playoffs last year. 5 touchdowns, 2 picks.
Was great against Dallas.
Great. They annihilated the Cowboys.
Yeah, killed the Cowboys. You know the day I thought when I said, wow, he's really something, Thanksgiving. He went into Detroit, and he took them apart.
Yeah, he was – I just remember, and at that point I'm going to try to pull up his game log so I can see when he really started cooking, but it felt like watching the game against the Steelers, and I'm like, he's got it, and then he really did kind of go. Yeah, so they lose there. He threw for 289 and 2. Prior to that, he did not have any 300-yard games. He'd thrown quite a few touchdowns, but coming out of that game, he goes 322 and 2 touchdowns, 268 and 3, 267 and 3, no picks in this stretch. He had another 284 and 2, 219 and 2, 256 and 3, 316 and 2, and then that playoff game 272, 3, and no picks. He basically after the Steelers game, he finished that from that stretch on, which was week 10 on, with 2, 5, 8, 9, 11, 13, 16, 18 touchdowns and 1 pick.
Wow. That's good.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Take it into the playoffs.
And, Nathan, I thought he had the Niners speed.
He did?
In that playoff game. I mean, they were into the fourth quarter, and they were right there.
They did, and then one of his picks that actually showed up was on that last drive trying to make the comeback and force it. But you mean to tell me you got a guy who threw the playoffs 23 touchdowns and 3 picks That's
Yeah.
what got him paid. I mean, that was the sample size, and I think what you saw was he got better and better and better kind of as the season went on, and was able to execute at a very, very high level. So they were certainly very happy about that. Young guys getting paid. You know, it's interesting, like you said, small sample size because they had Aaron Rodgers.
I know. The Green Bay, they have done it. They have been able to weave their way through the different eras of having to get up, and get a quarterback.
If
I mean, right
he's
through
good-
Favre to Rodgers,
Yeah,
and now to this kid.
if he's good, being able to have Favre to Rodgers to Jordan Love would be pretty incredible.
I think he lost to Kent State in a bowl game.
Really?
Yeah. I think he lost to Kent State in a bowl game. I think I'm right on that.
Gibbe,
Mr. Mid-American Conference, please. Come in.
It was a Utah State, Kent State.
Yeah.
I feel like you said it with too much authority to be wrong. But we'll find. We're going to take a break.
I think on the other side of the break, I'll be
Proving
taking
it
a
right.
bow. I'm
Take a
gonna
bow. That's right.
yeah.
Get ready for a Jim Donovan victory lap, and also some sound bites from the owners of the Cleveland Browns coming up next here on Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet, live from the Greenbrier in West Virginia. Get your Cleveland Browns single game tickets now for all the great matchups at Cleveland Browns Stadium. Visit clevelandbrowns.com/tickets or call 440-891-5050 to purchase today. Gibby, we're going to have to – the good thing this wasn't – I'm not Ron Burgundy on the teleprompter there.
Well, you were.
Well,
I'm gonna say you
Hey,
kinda
just
were.
put that up there. He'll read anything.
yeah, well – one of the words was not right that I skipped over, and that caused me to miss slash.
Well, I
on the
copied
very
and
next
pasted
one.
that, so that's my fault for not checking.
By the way, everybody, put your hands together. Let Jim Donovan hear you.
Yeah.
You're exactly right, and you even nailed that it was the Frisco Bowl when Kent State
the
defeated
Tropical
Utah State.
Smoothie Cafe.
For
Frisco
those of
Bowl.
us in the bowl business, it's the Frisco Bowl.
It's no California Raisin Bowl from back in the day.
It was a great game.
Yeah.
I mean, it went up and down the field. I mean, really, and the kid from Kent, Dustin Crum, was amazing in the
Midview.
game. Huh?
Midview High School.
Midview High
Pride
School.
of Midview.
That would make him a midi.
Yes.
That's right, a midi. Yeah.
That would make him a midi. And Love, you said in that one, Love was well over 300 with 3 touchdowns.
So the scoring look goes like this. At the end of the third quarter, let's see if I've got this right here. 29. It is Utah State it's 27-26. Utah State's winning.
Okay.
25-14 in the fourth quarter.
How about
in
that?
favor of Crum and the Kent State Golden Flashes, who finished with a winning record at 7-6.
And the Kent State coach, Sean Lewis, wasn't it? Isn't that his name, Sean Lewis?
Potentially.
He had that great offense. I think he went out. He went with Dion.
Yes, and then got screwed over by
that
whole mess.
Yeah, really.
Gibby, can you tell me how we get 25 points in a quarter? Is that 2 touchdowns with 2-point conversions, a third touchdown without, and a field goal?
Stand by.
I'm trying to think.
Or did I say 25 or 26?
25.
25.
It should have been 26. Sorry.
That's all right. That's still interesting. So that's you got to get to 23, and they didn't kick enough field goals. It's not like they had 14 points and then 4 field goals.
Let's see if I can find what I'm looking for here.
There's got to be a scoring summary, touchdown
That's
here.
what I'm looking up right now.
Got to be all that.
I just remember it was a Friday night, and I couldn't stop watching it. I mean, because you're
you
going,
had family
wow.
in attendance, right?
Yeah, Megan was with Kent State at that time, and I mean, it was here's Kent State. I thought they would get blown out, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you have this kid playing quarterback, and gosh, I mean,
So they got to 26, 3, 4 field goals and 2 touchdowns
In one quarter.
No. Are you talking just the fourth quarter?
Yeah.
Just the fourth quarter.
Well, you said they scored that.
A touchdown and a 2-point conversion.
Okay.
A touchdown and a PAT.
Okay, 15.
A field goal.
18.
And a touchdown and a PAT.
That's 25.
So it was 20.
It was 25-14. It was 27-26.
It was 27-26 at the end of 3.
Yeah, so then they went 25-14 in the fourth.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had that. Okay. All
Okay.
right. There you go. You got it.
I
You
wasn't
had it.
losing my mind?
Way to go,
good.
Golden Flashes.
I don't know. It was a little bit of a roundabout way of getting
Boy,
it. I think
was
you
it.
said some contradictory things in there, but we ultimately got to the right
We're home.
spot.
Yeah, we got it.
We're home.
I need a little nap.
Kent
nailed
State
it.
won.
The point here is that Jim was right. Okay, that's all.
The Frisco Bowl.
Really,
The Frisco
I
Bowl.
think he's really watered it down now. I mean,
Don't steal his thunder. All right. The Browns owners, Jimmy and Dee Haslam, were at the podium on Saturday. Here's some things they had to say first about the extensions, and well-deserved, for the head coach Kevin Stefanski and general manager Andrew Berry.
Well, I guess you would say it's a relief that they performed well, and he said it well. I mean, they're not only a good GM and a good coach, but they're really good people. They're very young. I think oftentimes we forget how young they are, and I think potentially very high ceiling for both of them. So it's, as Dee said, they're good at their job and they're good people to work with.
Yeah.
they are a team.
They are a team.
Huh? And
Yeah.
what a great team they have been since they were put together.
Andrew Berry.
Quiet.
I know. He's eating lunch. He's right by us. 37.
Yeah.
Stefanski, 42.
Yeah.
And entering their 5th season together. So you think about that.
They made a good point. I mean, they're young. I mean, it's
they
hard
are
to
quite
believe they're
young.
So young.
Yeah. And they've certainly learned a lot. They've grown together, and they've done a tremendous job. And we're going to have an interview with Andrew Berry coming up while we're here tomorrow, I think, as a matter of fact, from the Greenbrier. So that'll be something to look forward to.
You got to give Paul DePodesta a lot of credit.
Absolutely.
He put the two of them together. And, wow, how it has worked.
Oh, boy, has it. And we have a chance, I think, to be on the verge of something special. And if we get that on the offensive side of the ball this year, that's going to go a long way. We know this defense is so good. Now, it's so tough year to year to be the #1 defense in the league, but the Browns certainly can do it. But let's talk about that offense. And here's what Jimmy Haslam had to say about the offseason changes on offense.
You know, I think it's a hard question because you're talking about the people that were here who are really good people, in some ways did a really good job. I think you're always trying to look to improve, innovate, and get better. And you're also looking what offense fits your quarterback skill set the best. So we're excited to see what Ken and his group can do. We obviously have 2 new O-line coaches, new tight end coach, new running backs. So the entire offense, except for CO, is new. They have put in a ton of time. Kevin's been right in the middle of it. And I think the solution Kevin came up with, where there's going to be a fair amount of change in the offense, but he's going to call the plays, is a good one.
You and I both are on the Kevin bandwagon.
Absolutely.
Call the plays, no doubt about that. Hey, we'll see what these guys do. They have a lot to work with. But, you know, I think the Ken Dorsey thing is going to be fun to watch.
I think it's going to be very fun to watch.
It
and
really is.
I think Tommy Rees and what he brings, as most recently was the offensive coordinator at Alabama, that is going to be fun to watch. And I bet some of the concepts that he had there will be incorporated.
Boy, Tommy Rees, Alabama, and he was the offensive coordinator for Brian Kelly at Notre Dame. Wanted him to go to LSU with him, right? He stayed one extra year at Notre Dame, and then he's at Alabama. You know, he has really made a great young career for himself. I mean, I think there are big things out there.
Oh, yeah.
For Tommy Rees.
I think, you know, kind of the scuttlebutt around the league is that he's a guy that is going to be an offensive coordinator in this league.
No doubt.
Sooner rather than later. He's only 32. I mean, this is another youthful guy immersed in that college game. Obviously, you mentioned was a quarterback at Notre Dame. He's been a play caller there at Alabama and at Notre Dame. So this is somebody who's very familiar with some of the kind of these more modern concepts.
And a ball boy here.
And a ball boy here.
A ball boy here. I remember his dad, Bill Rees, was with Phil Savage when Phil was the GM with the Browns.
Okay.
And Tommy would be here. Like, you know, he would be here. If we were here, Tommy would be here on the sideline as a ball boy. Yeah.
That's awesome. Comes full circle, right?
Yeah.
Now tight ends coach for the Cleveland Browns. He's got ball boys to help him out now. He doesn't even need to worry about it. But, yeah, I think it's an exciting staff, and I think it's, you know, some of the things are going to be new. And I remember Kevin Stefanski, to his credit, after the first year when he ended up being, you know, named coach of the year, the offense was really humming over the second half of that season. That was Baker's best stretch of football in the National Football League, 20 touchdowns, 2 picks. And I remember that offseason saying, and he was like, look, we have to innovate. He goes, if you're standing still, you're getting worse. You're falling behind. You've always got to keep moving forward. And I think, you know, to say, look, this is the way that I've run an offense, and these are a lot of my concepts. I'm sure there was some AVP in there. There was some Bill Callahan involved in there as well. But that to maximize the strengths, and I think he says this all the time, every coach's goal is maximize the strengths of my players, accentuate their strengths, and hide as best we can their weaknesses, or make them not as present or not have to be brought to the forefront as much. And I think to say, you know, look, we have a quarterback who's very good at A, B, C, and D, and now that might not be the things that are necessarily the hallmarks of the style of offense I've coached my whole career, to say, okay, so I'm going to bring in a Ken Dorsey, I'm going to bring in a Tommy Rees, we're going to bring in Deuce Staley, who is an excellent addition to this staff as well. I like that, and I think it just speaks to the fact that, look, you're always evolving in this league. Every year has to be an evolution to be able to stay kind of cutting edge and at the forefront.
And I also think Kevin goes out with other coaches around the NFL because he's been around the NFL for so long and really, you know, talks about football. He loves talking ball. Right? Is that what
he does.
I like to talk ball.
He
and
loves
I think
talking
he does
ball.
that, you know. Why are you guys doing this, you know? And maybe we can, you know, take a piece of that.
His favorite thing to talk about when I get the opportunity to interview him, as I do every week during the season, you get to talk to him as well prior to the games, is he wants to talk about ball, whether it be a specific play or a concept. That's what actually gets him excited. It's that chess match that really, I think, intrigues him. And look, one of the main reasons that they kind of made these changes were to have a better spot on that chessboard for their quarterback, Deshaun Watson. Here are the owners of the Browns talking about Deshaun.
I mean, I think what you can see as well, he's really comfortable and really competent. I think that has made a big difference this year, immediately coming out comfortable and competent.
Hey, you know, Deshaun had the surgery, if I remember, the Monday after Thanksgiving. So Jan, Feb, March. He came back in early April. I think he attended every practice in the spring, might have missed one, which was great for him. He's worked hard. He told us he's in the best shape he's ever been in. So we're excited to see what happens next week, get the pads on and see how he does. But he's in a very good frame of mind, as I think you all saw yesterday.
Boy, they have always been in his corner.
Yes.
You know, they really have. From the time that, you know, he came in under all of that swirl of what his world was like at that point in time. But they have been consistently in his corner.
I think you're exactly right. And I think, you know, one of the things we talk to guys who come to the Browns about, and Dustin Hopkins, you know, Jordan Hicks, guys like that, there is a genuine care from ownership on down for these players as football players, but as human beings. And, you know, remember that when a decision like this is made, and not to get back into some of the stuff that, you know, was surrounding the time, but there is so much more that went into kind of the vetting of this than people could possibly imagine.
Right.
And, you know, for Dee Haslam to feel the way that she does about Deshaun Watson says a lot about things that none of us are privy to. And,
Absolutely.
And so I think that that's one of the reasons, that, to your point, that they have been steadfastly in his corner this whole time. Jimmy Haslam talking about the potential for an 18-game schedule, and I would say more like this, about the inevitable 18-game schedule here in the NFL.
Yeah, book it.
Well, let's understand, for that to happen, NFL and NFL owners and the players union have to agree, okay? And the number one concern for both of those groups is player safety. So we'd have to be convinced. We know we would take off an exhibition game. We'd have to be convinced it's not going to move the health and safety needle negatively in any way. If we get comfortable with that, then if the players are willing to play an 18th game, I think everybody understands we split the revenue. So they get half and we get half. But I think we need to see and make sure that the health and safety numbers are not going to go backwards on us, because we have worked really hard on improving that over the last, it's been the number one focus the last 5 years, and I think we'll continue to do so, and we've made progress, but we just need to make sure of that.
So you and I were talking about this at lunch with some, I'd call a luminary in this organization. And,
yeah.
You know, I really do think an 18-game schedule, and the league absolutely can do this, where they break it up so that teams are going, they don't go more than 7 games without a bye.
Right.
So you have 2 byes, and you can really break the season up into thirds, a 6-game tranche, bye, 6-game, bye, 6-game, and then now you're into the playoffs. That almost feels to me like it could be better in some ways for player health and safety and rejuvenation than going 17 with just 1 bye.
Yeah, the thing that is surprising to me so far is that the players' union is really, there isn't a lot of pushback on this. They're very receptive to it. They're talking about it. You know,
quite a bit.
You know, if they really didn't like it, you'd hear about it right away, where they would go, whoa, no way.
Who was it? Was it Josh Allen that late? What quarterback? Do you remember the quarterback? I think it may have been Josh Allen, who was on a pod and was talking about the 18-game schedule and said, you know, I would do it with 2 byes. And the NFLPA at the time got mad because they said, hey, they'll take away our leverage or what we're trying to say here. But it was recently.
I think so, yeah.
Or maybe it was Joe Burrow.
It was Burrow on the was it Pardon My Take?
It was Burrow, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but listen, the players are smart. That's what they're thinking about. And quite frankly, I think that the NFL, because it's about TV money first, and you could fill with half the league off. So you could have half the league off on week 7, half the league off in week 8, and then kind of do a similar thing, or 6 and 7, whatever it is, where you could still have a full TV slate. You'd have every window completely filled, but then also have teams going, and you really break it up, and it's 3, seasons.
Yeah. And the other thing is, it's not about the quarterbacks really getting that money. It's about the guys kind of on the bottom of the roster.
Yeah, it's going to raise.
It's going to raise that for them. I mean, the quarterbacks, as we reported earlier in the show, they're getting their money.
No doubt.
They have their money.
Yeah, it's going to be, honestly, it's going to raise the minimums.
Right.
It's going to raise for the guys, it's your point. The NFL's what I would call kind of dwindling middle class and certainly I would say an expanding lower class, because teams are basically being built with very expensive high-end talent, and then you're trying to fill in the other gaps, and those are the guys who certainly could help have that money. Now, The stadium, the dome. You were talking about
yeah.
Miami. They probably want everybody in the northern part of the country to build a dome so that when they do have to travel in the playoffs, they
No.
get a perfect environment.
They must have been ticked when Buffalo said no.
No.
Open air for us.
Yeah. They would have loved that.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Invite a dome there into that. That would be the first dome in the AFC East. The Browns potentially could have the first dome in the AFC North. Here's what Jimmy Haslam had to say about the decision for the new stadium.
One solution or the other, and we'll continue to do so till we get to what we think the right answer. And if you ask what's the right answer, the right answer is what is best for our fans, okay? That is driving 90% of the decision making. What's best for our fans? Because these are long-term decisions. This isn't a 5-year decision, a 10-year decision. It's at least a 20-year decision, maybe more. So what is best for our fans will ultimately drive what we do.
I would say in all of my interactions, so these are people that I know and then people that have come up to me and offered their opinion, I'd say it's probably 95-5 in favor of the dome.
Yeah. Now, you go downtown to somebody that is working in a bar or a restaurant, and they're very concerned about that because those are big, big days down in Cleveland on a game day on a regular season Sunday or anything that the Browns are doing down on the lakefront. They are concerned. But I really think the excitement of it, seems to be leading the poll right now.
Yeah, and listen, when you think about the fans part of it is you don't need to be freezing. You can people sometimes opt not to go to games due to weather conditions, weather issues.
Yeah. If you're out of it in December and you're not in the playoff hunt, people want to get rid of those tickets, right?
Even when we played New Orleans on Christmas Eve, we were still in it. It was still we were still alive. A win there would have helped, and nobody wanted to be there because it was almost deathly cold on that day. All right, we'll be back wrapping up hour number 1. Still to come on hour number 2, what we want to see the rest of the week at the Greenbrier. Dustin Hopkins and Myles Garrett all coming your way here on Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet. Does your furry friend have what it takes to beat out the competition? Well, enter the Dog Dash Sweepstakes presented by Milkbone for a chance to have your pup compete in the annual halftime dog races. Visit clevelandbrowns.com/milkbone to enter and check out more from Milkbone at your local grocery store or pet supplies store. Are you a dog guy, Jim?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Oh,
you have a
my
dog?
God.
You have a
We
dog that
two.
could enter the
We
Dog
have two,
Dash?
yeah.
You got any
They're on the bigger side, I think, right
Okay.
now. Yeah, the
Good.
herding.
Do they like to, I was going to say, they like to wrangle the horses?
Yeah, we kind of. I don't want them to get hurt though.
No, you don't want them stepped on. It'd be very
right,
bad.
Yeah, but no, big. Oh, love them.
What breeds?
Well, they're both rescues. One is a Bernedoodle.
Oh, yeah, Bernedoodle. Great
Yeah.
dog.
And the other one is he is a Saint Bernard Golden Retriever. I'll show you.
Oh, yeah. That is an interesting. Wow.
That's Hank.
Hank
Hank and Mabel.
Hank and Mabel. All right. And I got a little Asa Woody. She's only about a
What?
11-pound
What's the
Chihuahua.
name?
Well, her name was Elsa, but then Kayla often comes up with unique new names for the dog, so now it
okay.
is Asa Woody.
Oh, all right.
And she's about 11-pound Chihuahua Jack Russell mix.
Yeah.
Full of spunk and attitude.
You know, if you call play-by-play of those dog races, it's a very, very easy call. They're off. It's over.
That's about
That
how
would be
quick
it,
it
right?
is, yeah.
You know?
Well, and truthfully,
You don't have to
rarely all the
memorize.
dogs even run. A lot of them kind of turn around and they're like, no, you need to run.
Yeah,
Come on.
right.
Yeah, it's easy for that. The one dog that gets the mission usually comes out on top there. All right, let's talk a little bit about what's going on in the Olympics so far. We had a great opening ceremony watch party. I think the consensus was
yeah.
Celine Dion, really
Oh,
incredible, powerful, moving, emotional, beautiful, all of it.
save the day.
Yes.
I think her performance really saved the day.
Yes, I think that is a very popular take that you have right there, Jim. The medal count right now, South Korea actually pacing the field with 5 golds. South Korea, Japan, and China, 5 golds apiece.
Wow.
The French, the host nation, they've got 4. Australia 4. The U.S. with 3. But the U.S. tied with France for the most medals overall. 14 for the United States, 14 for the French as well. That home country we were talking about, it gives them a boost.
No, it really does. The crowds, and just the pride of the nation.
Sure.
And then they used to give away bonuses if you won the medal. If you won a gold medal, you could win, $1 million.
Yeah.
Or something like that. If you were in Spain, I think they did that when I was over there covering them in Barcelona. And now
an
we don't do
incentive.
that. We do endorsements
Yep.
here. But we'll do well. We did well in Salt Lake City. We did well in Lake Placid.
Yep.
We did well in L.A., and we'll do well in L.A. again. It's just a boom, I think.
And I wonder, this is not based on anything other than just kind of anecdotal observation, because many of these sports, especially in the summer games, now there are some that are just straight up, whoever swims fastest wins, whoever runs the quickest wins. But there are a lot that do have judge input into the outcomes of events, and I wonder if it's just in the back of your head, hey, we're in Paris. Oh, listen, the crowd, they love that.
Yeah,
That was a little
yeah.
bit better than
Well, that's
maybe
true. Yeah.
I thought,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think they did very well in the cycling events.
Well,
The French.
it is.
And,
They should. It's the
did very-
biggest cycling competition has the name France in it.
I think they have a race over there called the Tour.
The Tour. That's right. The Tour de France. Indeed. All right. So more to come. By the way, the basketball team yesterday, no Jason Tatum. I'm very surprised about that.
He's playing in the next game.
I know, and I know he said, and I'm going to throw some, this is my devil's advocate. I don't quite get the explanation. So the explanation why he didn't play was they played 3 centers.
Serbia had big guys, and so Team USA needed 3 centers, so they went with Adebayo.
Yep.
Embiid
and Anthony Davis.
Anthony Davis.
And I get all that. I
How
understand.
about watching them come off the floor, and there is Jason Tatum
Just standing there.
in his warm-ups the whole game. He didn't even get in at the end of the game.
No.
Maybe that
It's-
they did
maybe
well
that's
by that.
right.
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
that's embarrassing. Yeah.
And his Celtic teammates played a big part of the game. Derek White and Drew Holiday. Holiday starts, and then Drew White came in and really played very, very well for him.
Because Holiday's just such a winning player,
I know,
right? The
yeah.
defense, the passing, the rebounding, all of it. I'll just say this, Steve Kerr, smart man, and I take you at your word, but when you're worried about a big team, you're playing 3 guards pretty much the whole game. Tatum's a wing. He's the guy who plays on the
Right.
wing. It is incredible that the NBA champions are the Celtics, and the 2 best, I would say universally agreed upon, best players on that team are
Jaylen
Jason
Brown
Tatum and
and Jaylen
Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown's not even on this
On the
Olympic
team,
team.
right.
Jason Tatum didn't even play,
Yeah.
and guys 3 and 4 played significant minutes. Very, very interesting. But
Yeah.
you need to have some of those role players certainly in the Olympic competition. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, Jim and I will tell you what we want to see the rest of the week at the Greenbrier. The Browns still have 4 practices to go. Well, really, probably 3 practices to go. I think Wednesday they're doing a walkthrough and some team building. So what do we want to see? We'll tell you when we return here on Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet. All right, welcome back to Cleveland Browns Daily. Nathan Zagura, the voice of the Browns. Jim Donovan still to come. We're going to have an exclusive interview with newly extended kicker Dustin Hopkins and Myles Garrett, the reigning Defensive Player of the Year, from the podium. That's coming up later here in hour number 2. But first, Jim, wanted to ask you, what do you want to see? What is it you want to see the rest of the week?
Live. I want to see some live action.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Thursday.
Okay. It will be worth the wait.
It'll be.
Yeah, it would be worth the wait then. Yeah, I would like to see that. I love that red zone stuff.
Of course.
And I would like to see, the kickoff and how they're going to try and get through that.
Yeah, when
with
on
Bubba
Thursday we'll
Ventrone,
get
who
some-
is really every day very, upbeat and excited about what the possibilities are there. So I look
Yes.
forward to that. But the live, this is a very good team.
Football.
Yeah, let's go. Let's see how it is.
some football.
Yeah.
Yeah, and look, obviously, you want everybody to stay healthy. Duh. I really would like to see Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah. I would like to see those tackles.
I would like to see those tackles,
Yeah.
Jack Conklin and Jed Wills. Obviously, DeJuan Jones did not practice today, but Kevin Stan said he and Mike Hall both will be back immediately. No issues there with either of them. Yeah, I'm with you. See some real football. See kind of what this thing looks like, and even just good 7-on-7s in pads. I love one-on-ones.
Yeah.
I like the offensive line, defensive line one-on-ones. I really enjoy kind of the wide receiver, corner, tight end, safety, linebacker, running back, linebacker, safety. Those ones. It's football. So getting
Yeah.
a piece of that and then seeing some. I want Deshaun to continue to look good, and I
Right.
think that's very important. And,
Yeah.
I'm sure that. There a lot of things have been written recently that probably have rankled him a little bit, and focus on football. And the truth is, winning cures all, right?
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
play well and you win, it's going to be
Right.
fun.
And you do not have to buy a scorecard for this team. I mean, these are the guys that were here last year for the most part. I mean, really beyond the most part. I mean, they are here and they are ready with some nice, additions. But I think it's going to be really good. I think the live action, because there's so much talent out there on the field.
Yeah, an immense amount of talent, and I think that is going to be a lot of fun to watch as it all progresses, because you're looking for, as you said, nothing on your starting lineup.
No.
You talk about the principal players, you're coming back at, okay, who's going to be the third tight end?
Right.
That's what we're really worried about.
Right.
Who's going to be tackle 4 and 5 if you're keeping 4 and 5? How do the backups on the interior of the offensive line shake out?
Yeah.
Can Ced Tillman keep pushing at that number 4 receiver spot? And then who are going to be receivers 5 and 6? David Bell, Mike Woods, Jamari Thrash, Jalen Darden. You got guys Landers competing there. Who are going to be those guys? And then defensively, it's a rotation at defensive tackle. So I guess you could say who starts next to Dalvin, who is really the guy that comes in the sub packages, who's your Sam linebacker, Tony Fields most likely, or Devin Bush, and that's it.
Yeah. But there will be somebody that really pops out.
Of course.
There always is. I mean, Ronnie Hickman,
Yep.
popped out during the preseason last year. And that's always fun, too. I don't know if there's any room in the end, though, for that.
There are more than 53 NFL
Right.
caliber players out here already by a lot. It's going to be very tough
Very true.
for Andrew Berry to get it done. One thing, though, that the Browns do not have to worry about is the kicker position. That's because Dustin Hopkins was absolutely brilliant. He has now signed an extension that will keep him here, make him one of the top-paid kickers in the league, and justifiably so. And we got to sit down with him and have an unbelievable interview. I'm very excited about Dustin Hopkins coming up right now. Coming up